I'd like to introduce Tim Badman. Could I interject and ask you to share some reflections on this in hearing about some of this discussion and dialogue with that is?
Well, yeah, no, I'd be glad to say something. I wasn't sure if I could get here, but it's good to get here. Actually, my background is was I think nearly a marine World Heritage Area. I used to be the manager of the Dorset and East Devon coast, which sticks its toes in the water, but doesn't get below low water mark because it's a site that protects fossil values and geomorphology. But I come from the sea, so I'm sort of nearly a marine site manager that has gone back to or sort of escape from where I'm from and is working in the system. I guess just my observations. I mean, firstly, that it's just a pleasure to partner in with the marine program because it's a program which is really, I think, trying to get places and trying to use World Heritage in the way that those of us that have worked with it on the ground know that it can get, which is all the positives that come with World Heritage. I also really would, to pick up on marine, the point that we've got to not just think about the big sites. I got here for the three presentations about the big three of the World Heritage list, but the fact of it is that Papahanaumoku, Kea, Pipa, and the Great Barrier Reef, between them have more than half of the hectares that are included in the Natural World Heritage System at the moment. So you three folks have got more than 50% of the Natural World Heritage hectares to deal with, which is a massive job for just three sites. I think it's important when we think about marine not to only focus on these massive marine areas. I mean, there's a whole agenda there. But what's interesting to me, I think, just two points I'd make really about where this marine community. One is, I think there's just a really clear and distinct agenda for ocean conservation. So those sites that are about ocean conservation within the marine conservation agenda, I think, really have a great opportunity for a leadership role. It's 25%, as I understand it, more or less, of the hectares of marine protected areas. So it's massive footfall across that piece, and I think that's something where the marine contribution can be really distinctive and really important. So this articulation that the marine program is about, World Heritage as a leadership role within the global oceans conservation agenda, I think is really key. But I would also just make a plea that in being the Marine World Heritage community, you stay connected to the convention because as a whole, and there's 2 points on that. One is that we're just trying to mobilise across a whole range of issues where we'll all need to work together. One of those, and a key one, is about the standards that the World Heritage Convention needs to retain at its heart at the work of the World Heritage Committee. And although I agreed with a lot of what Sue said, the reality is the World Heritage Committee is one of the most unfriendly places for NGOs that you could find. We're the lonely voice of civil society mostly, and my general comment about the World Heritage Committee and NGOs is you can get an NGO to come to the World Heritage Committee once, but you can't get them to come twice because you get there once and you have this sort of tough meeting. And I think what Marine has been doing is creating some interesting space around what is a very kind of terribly difficult international process to have side events, to have events that really animate the can-do mentality about World Heritage. And I think you need to help infect the rest of the convention on that piece. But I also think we need to face the fact that we will not hold the committee to high standards if NGOs are not there and they go through the pain to come back more than once. They're in the room, they're speaking on issues where things are going wrong. And the fact of it is that we have the Great Barrier Reef, and I was there on mission with Fanny this year, where we've noted a whole range of threats that are so significant that if action's not taken, we could be discussing a danger listing recommendation. So, whilst we can focus on the positive, we shouldn't note that, we shouldn't think that all is well everywhere. And to hold the World Heritage Committee to this standard-setting role, I think is going to need all of us to work together. So please, do come back more than once and help to create this space which makes the World Heritage Committee, interesting for people to stay at when the meeting is running slowly through things that people have not come there for. The other reason I think that I'd really like to see the marine sort of agenda stay connected is that I think we're going to see much more the relationship between what in the Western world we call natural and cultural values, but I think many parts of the world in the Pacific, people don't kind of even think like that. But this idea of places that are important for people and nature, and we think of them as whole places, and we work with our partners in ICOMOS who were here at the start of the workshop. I had to go somewhere else to really think about protecting whole places, but protecting places with the people who live and have lived there and want to really make things work for them as well. Seeing how the uses that people make of places is just as important to conserve and look after as conserving for nature. And I think Marine is going to give us a whole range of kind of leading edge examples of how that link between nature and culture actually works for conservation as a whole. And it would be a shame to also just keep that learning in the space of a marine discussion. So do be strong about being a marine program, but do be strong about reaching out to the whole of the convention, and that will be my concluding remark. Thank you.
As a manager, I just take those comments from you, Tim, very, very, both they lift me in thinking that, wow, this is going to make an impact, that Marine has a role, but I also, that helps me understand as a manager, how can we be more mindful of what is happening at the international and regional levels. Those are new statistics for me to be able to utilize, but how can we as managers also be able to make sure that we stay connected even in our home areas where we may not do a good job staying connected to the convention with our other sites. And I will say that IUCN was hugely helpful on with our bid for World Heritage, and I see you folks get read up at the commission at the committee meetings. So thank you for all that you do. I think we're out of time for this session. This part of this session, don't run away. We have more presentations, and so I'm going to turn the mic back to Fanny. And if we'll be around a little bit. If anybody wants to still talk about this or add to the comments, we appreciate it. It will help us build the Marine program.
Thank you, Alani. Thank you for all the comments that have been coming to us. So you're welcome to come after the session as well if you want to have more information. We have one last presentation. It's a presentation by Carole Martinez. She is at the French Marine Protected Area Agency. It's the agency that the World Heritage Center just signed a memorandum of understanding with. But perhaps one of the most important things is that in 2013, in October, during the Impact 3 meeting, we will host there, together with Carole and her team, the second Global Marine World Heritage Site Managers meeting. So Carole will give a final 10-minute presentation, and after that we'll close the session with a final remark.
Hello everybody. Thank you Fanny, thank you Guy, thank you all to be here. So I think we have already touched the point of my humble presentation. I think the purpose is not really to scale up marine world heritage in a sense to enlarge I would say the list or the club of the marine world heritage site, but to foresee with you what could be actually the potentiality of the convention, for renewing the UNESCO Convention, and for that I invite you to a little travel through different oceans. Thinking and speaking about oceans, about seas, it's always leading us to travel by the way, to experience something new, and most of the time to refresh our mind and also not only our body. Marine issues has been always a source of evolution of the international law. We have saw the different convention, of course, the Bible, the convention, the law for the sea. We have seen the different protocols. We have seen as well the efforts at the regional level. But what about the World Heritage Convention? what could be actually the role of oceans, of the marine world heritage sites when it comes to the purpose of this convention, when it comes to, in fact, to sum up, the notion of heritage. Bringing together those three oceans, the Pacific Ocean, the Indian Ocean, but as well the Antarctic Ocean, can seem at the first sight quite iconoclast. What could be the common point between Marquesian people, the Comorian people, and the CPAC, for instance? The first answer is not so easy, but definitely they all raise up a question to the World Heritage Convention. They are all questioning this convention, its principle, its fundamental concepts, such as the OUV, the Outstanding Universal Value. So, by the way, at the first sight, marine world heritage sites can see as a challenge for the UNESCO Convention. And this for three main reasons. Because they are definitely still little known. And by the way, the demonstration, the proof that they are fulfilling the UNESCO criteria with strong scientific evidence is not so easy. They are bringing, in addition, more and more pressure when it comes to the management, because as Aulani, as you as specified, size does matter. The marine world heritage sites are more and more bigger. Why? Not only for, you know, the competition, because it does make sense to have large area in order to take into account the function, the marine function, the ecological processes. So by the way, the marine protected area have to be more and more bigger. And by the way, the marine world heritage sites have to be as well bigger in order to promote what is this marine heritage. But once this said, what about the management? Where are the means? It's not so easy. And this is the second point why marine world heritage sites can be as well a challenge. And the third point is about the conception, the notion, because as we've seen, marine world heritage sites are bringing us in a certain way to shake our brains in order to think more about the link between nature and culture, and to think about how we could be more holistic, more comprehensive about the notion, this fundamental concept of heritage. And for instance, we have been working together with Aulani through these exchanges between Hawaii and the French Polynesia, and more particularly the Marquesas Island, about what could be definitely a marine cultural landscape. Well, what a question. It's not so easy to define with our, you know, current concept, notions and tools. The challenge is as well a chance, an opportunity. An opportunity, by the way, to renew the paradigm and the purpose of the World Heritage Convention and the purpose of preserving the heritage in order to embrace new marine area, new marine ecosystem. And by the way, we could say, well, what about those pelagic areas beyond the national jurisdiction? What about the high seas, actually? In order as well to broaden, as said, the concept of design and applicant, the fundamental concept, as you say, John, of outstanding universal value, and to work on the basis of the convention for a better and improved collaboration, But it's a chance as well to reconsider the notion of heritage. So let's go to the Indian Ocean in order to have a first, I would say, a little case study. It's not such a little, as you can see. Thanks to our partnership between the French MP Agency and the Marine Program of the World Heritage Convention, we have organized a few months ago a workshop in La Réunion Island in order to foresee what could be the potential new candidate, where could be the new marine World Heritage sites. Things, actually the Indian Ocean is the, I would say, less represented ocean on the World Heritage list. According to the scientific recommendation and conclusion, finally, the whole Mozambican channel has come up like a real potential candidate, but not only through, a transboundary approach, but through a real regional approach, and furthermore, through an oceanographic approach. Thanks to the comments, the knowledge of scientific colleagues, it appears that the Mozambican Channel has a real asset when it comes to teaching us more about oceanographic functions, teaching us more about the link between the north of the Mozambican Channel and the south, and more about the migration of the top predators and the marine mammals. So this leads us to have